Hi, this is Captain Piso. You know what happened yesterday, Sunday, 5111? Well, I would call it OGO 511 day. Obama got Osama on 5111, Sunday, Day of the Sun God. And it's very appropriate because, like I said when Obama got elected, I didn't know too much about the man. He was equivalent to a Christus, because President of the United States are equivalent to Christuses. And the Senate, like in ancient Rome, used to control all the different gods of the empire, were very tolerant. Now we have ChristPSychosis, which infects all. Except Obama. He's mentally healthy, he's an atheist. Bush, on the other hand, was a Christ-psychotic imbecile. When 9/11 occurred on his watch, with a piece of shit, a retard, theotard, ignorant man, because of his Christ-psychosis affliction. Let's go back and see what originated from the presidents of the United States, the Christus, the Savior in disguise, since Washington. And actually before that, since Iulius Caesar, the sacrificed Christus, son of Venus and Maya. Western civilization owes, and all the religions and everything, owes everything to the vast Roman Empire. Judaism, with all his fairy tales, they all come from the Roman Empire, the religion of Rome. And after the son, the son of Venus, Iulius Caesar, the Christ, the anointed one, the expected one, the Savior, was sacrificed, and it coming up here during his funeral games. And that's what Judaism, that's what all the religions come from. That's where all the Christian religions come from. That's where Judaism comes from. That's where the Abrahamic religions, that's where Islam come from, with the variation of the fairy tales. And then comes the Savior, which is Julius Caesar, sacrificed Savior. Then comes Augustus. All the Roman emperors were divine with saviors, and everybody copied them. And after the Roman Empire disintegration, then you have Christianity created out of so many cults. Constantine in 325 said, it's going to just gather only one religion and create intellectual stagnation. All the bullshit started. The empire, the whole Roman Empire collapsed, and intellectual stagnation began at the disintegration of the Roman Empire. And all the kings, controlled by the church, of course, became also Christus, anointed Christus by the grace of God. And that includes also President of the United States, since George Washington. Interesting, Constantine, the criminal, the one that created Christianity, in 325 with the Council of Nicaea, also created his holy city, because Rome was too sinful. So he created Constantinople, the city of Constantine, and the Bosphorus. And guess what? George Washington also created his own city, named Washington, D.C. Alexander the Great was a Christus. And about 2,200 or so, or 2,300 years ago, he also created his own city. He was the son of God, the son of Isis and Pharaoh. And he created, his own city called Alexandria. So keep that in mind. And we'll talk about George Washington. The Christ-psychotic morons didn't like the image of Washington as Zeus, the Christus, the savior of the country, and they didn't like this sculpture, which is very apropos. A lot of symbolism in here. And of course, it's taken out of Constantine the criminal. Here I am in Rome with a nice little symbol. And Iulius Caesar, the Christus, was killed, sacrificed his blood spilled, his sacred blood, saving the whole kingdom, which is Rome, the Roman Empire, the kingdom of heaven, to save it with his blood. Well, during his funeral, they created a full wax image of the god, while his body was going to be consumed in a fire, by fire, because he was divine. So he created, normally, you know, the Romans they make face masks of their relatives and their ancestors and all that, but Iulius Caesar the Christ was a god, so they made a huge wax image of him. And he was placed at a tropaeum, in other words, in a symbol of victory, which is a cross. I mean, if you were in those days, in ancient times, seeing all the commotion in Rome after Iulius Caesar the Christus was killed, and seeing his funeral games, and see that wax image with the mannequin on a cross with this crown of thorns and things, you would imagine that was Jesus Christ. You know, and Iulius Caesar was his, Mark Antony was his priest, you know, showing all this stuff. You will never believe. Showing all this stuff. You will so never Western believe. Civilization copied everything from the Roman Empire, including its religion, its custom, everything, and also the tradition of making wax images and death mask and life mask and all that. That's where it comes from. So they make one in Washington also. Washington, the Christus.
Does seeing Washington as he really was take away the greatness of his legacy?
I think that sadly, over the years, Washington has evolved from being almost a real person into being more of a symbol of our nation, almost like the flag or the eagle. And I think if you can make Washington blink his eyes...
So all kings, they become supernatural beings, greater than themselves. Includes all leaders. There used to be the Pontifex Maximus, the head of the empires were divine. Like the Queen of England is divine, anointed by zombie Jesus. And in the United States, we have also the presidents become greater than life. And in ancient Rome, they're equivalent to Roman emperors. So when Obama got elected, after the disaster of that piece of shit, Christ-psychotic imbecile Bush, then I said, hey, there's the new age, the age of enlightenment, with an atheist, an intellectual, a summa cum laude person, you know, half black and half white, with an amazing brain, is leading the country. And that was, I was very happy about that, after all these piece of shit Christ-psychotic imbeciles. And during his inauguration, he actually corrected that piece of shit Christ-psychotic Justice Roberts, the Christ-psychotic. And then he took the oath of office inside in the White House again with no Bible. Remember that. And when he did that, I said, he's definitely a brilliant man, mentally healthy, an atheist. Kalpun Pisa here. Election Eve, 4th of November. Psychotic repugnance, Republicans, by the way, getting their ass kicked. I wonder why. If you know anything about Roman history, and you look at the background, the architecture, the Christus Obama, the equivalent to a Roman emperor, a divine emperor, and he has all the background with the datura flowers, the potatoes, and all of that in the Roman architecture. How fitting.
3 folks having a drink at the end of the day, and hopefully giving people an opportunity to listen to each other.
Libation.
And that's really all it is. This is
he should do a sacrifice, like all the Roman emperors did. With beer, with wine.
It is not a
to the gods.
It's,
you know, with the potato. He should actually take a potato and
have some
do some sacred ceremony, libations using hallucinogenic materials like the Roman emperors did.
Sight of just the fact that
I think that would be really nice.
These are people involved, including myself.
You see that too?
Self-reflection.
Hallucinogenic flowers.
And recognizing that
on the base of the skull. See that?
The Roman religion always used flowers and entheogens to actually see God in their sacrifices, even marijuana, cannabis, and all that. Look at the patera here of Emperor Hadrian, and here is the patera of the Emperor Maxentius, which actually lost the battle to Constantine. Constantine will be the one the criminal that would actually establish Christianity. It will switch everything from Iulius Caesar to Jesus Christ.
So it's a lot of people understand apropos type of symbol of the Christians, because Obama is actually
That's going to take some time.
the equivalent to be the leader of a country like a Roman emperor, like a son of God Christus emperor, like a
See, I compare Obama to the Emperor Trajan, around 100 or so. And the man was brilliant, was a Christus. And he was fighting the Dacians, which his previous predecessor, like a piece of shit Bush, was the Emperor Domitian, one of the sons of the Emperor Vespasian, the young son that he took after Titus. And remember, the Colosseum was in the year 80 was inaugurated by Titus. He only lasted like about 2 years in power, and then Vesuvius erupted, buried the cities of Pompeii, Herculaneum, in 79 in May. But anyway, the following guy was that piece of shit, incompetent ruler that believed himself to be really truly a god, and all that paranoia, and that was Domitian. And of course, Domitian ended up getting killed and doing all these bad things, just like Bush did, identical. And there was a terrorist guy, King Decebalus, and in Parthia, which is present-day Rumania, and it was giving all these problems to Domitian, and Domitian started, paying him so he didn't attack him, and all this crap. And this is interesting. Domitian sent one of his generals, Trajan, to defeat the rebels. And of course Trajan did that, but eventually he would become emperor. And look at the difference. So I compare Domitian, the piece of shit imbecile Christ-psychotic Bush that ruined the country, squandered all the money, and then Obama, which had all the pain to actually restore the country back to the glory it was. That's just why I call it the age of Obama. And then it was like a Christus. And he had the problem of the terrorist Decebalus, which I compared to Osama bin Laden. And they had a beer. Because the Roman emperors, they didn't have a beer at this time. They were all clean shaven. Only the barbarians have beers. So you see the equivalent here.
Domitian squanders Rome's wealth to buy a barbarian's loyalty.
Just like Bush screwed up the money of the country.
Bush went to buy friends with the oil and in Iraq and soft, and he doesn't have no idea about the Shiites and what the Muslims are, this ignorant idiot, and trying to. This is exactly. I compare this to what happened to Domitian, the incompetent Domitian.
The young and loyal legionary commander named Trajan to restore order.
Just like Obama.
Crushed, and the
Trajan was an amazing man, incredible man.
said it is clear that Trajan is everything Domitian was not.
Yeah.
The historian Pliny celebrates the new emperor's gloriously modest.
Yeah, just like Obama. Exactly.
Just like Domitian is
chose to
Trajan
not satisfied
is Obama.
be drawn by 4 white horses.
Here's this fellow with the retarded Christians put established on Peter. Put established on Peter on top. And the Decebalus I compare like Bin Laden. And Trajan really crushed him. I mean, really crushed him. His head cut off and put on a pike.
This is the way people were punished. Impel them on things. Don't put them in anything that is high. And they were tied to trees. Look. Anything that is high up on a cross type of structure is called tropaion, represents victory.
Buried at sea, that's stupid. This piece of shit, Bin Laden, Islam psychotic, head should have been put on a pike, like the ancient times tradition, and put right in front of the Capitol building. Prayers should be said, and then there should be put blood, pig's blood over his sick head, and leave it there for like about 7 days on a pike. See, in this country they keep ChristPSychosis, all the traditions, like masses and the rabbis and the Muslims, Islamic festivals and all that crap, theocratic crap from the 2,000 years ago. And why not use the same punishment? To take the head of the enemy, you chop it off like Bin Laden and put it on a pike, not burying him at sea, which I believe they probably urinated on him all night. Don't tell anybody about it. But anyway, put it on a pike and make a big, huge damnation memorial condemning the piece of shit to be, instead of having the nice little virgin paradise, to be rotting in hell with the jinn and all that. And that's the only way you can do it. You fight a fairy tale with another fairy tale. But take his head off and let it rot and put it on a pike, as this happened, as did Iulius Caesar the Christus. After the son of Venus, the god and the Christus, Iulius Caesar defeated Pompey. That was the proconsul. There were two consuls in control of the Roman Empire, and they were sacred. They were like Christus. In other words, it was the equivalent of John the Baptist, that was supposed to be the Messiah, and Jesus Christ, that's supposed to be the Messiah. And one they decided to baptize the other one. Well, baptism is in water. And Pompey Magnus was the commander of the sea. That was also another consul of Rome, and fighting with Iulius Caesar, for control of the empire. And they both claimed to be the Christus. They were the Christus, the anointed one. And what happened is that Iulius Caesar was the man of the people, and that defeating Pompey, that was the son of Neptune, lord of the sea, and ended up defeating him in Pharsalus, and he went to Egypt to seek help from the Ptolemy, the king Ptolemy, was 13 years old. He had put Cleopatra away, and then Iulius Caesar came in, and actually they chopped the head off of Pompey and given it to Caesar when he arrived. And Caesar got all pissed off. Says, "There's a consul of Rome," and this is equivalent to John the Baptist when the head was chopped off and given it to Herod. All mixed up, the same little things, because Iulius Caesar was actually Jesus Christ. Distortions. Now, this is taken from the HBO series Rome, and this is it's historical. This is actually a fact. Then Iulius Caesar, the Christus, put Cleopatra, the sister of Ptolemy and also his wife, on the throne, and she was seen as the Lady of the Tower. It was Mary of Magdala, because the pharaohs of Alexandria.
Such barbarity, shame.
You are enemies.
He was a consul of Rome.
So Cleopatra, a brilliant woman, the daughter of Isis, of Venus, his ancestor Ptolemy Philadelphus, 300 years earlier, one of the boyfriends of Alexander the Great, that was in charge of Egypt and became a pharaoh in Egypt, but was Greek. He built that very Pharos, the amazing tower, one of the wonders of the world. And so Cleopatra, the Venus incarnate, the daughter of Isis, was considered Maya, which is Venus or Maya, the mother of Iulius Caesar, Maya. So she was considered the Lady of the Tower, Mary of Magdala. That's what Magdala means. That's where the Mary Magdalene bullshit comes from. Let's not forget Iulius Caesar was a Christus, also Pontifex Maximus. Here is picking up the air. He's covering his head to pick up the air in sacred. There was so much ritual and religion and different gods in Rome. Look at the way he puts his hands and to receive the blessings of the gods, especially the sun god. He was equated with Zeus. He was equated with Jupiter. He was equated with all these different gods. He became one. And the same thing like his son Octavius, the Prince of Peace, which be Emperor of Rome, divine Emperor, also was equated with Jupiter and Zeus and all the rest of the gods.
Oh, Septimius for a little while. I'd be most grateful.
The traditional punishment for enemy combatants, important enemy combatants, was to chop their heads off so everybody could see them, could see their faces, as an example.
Here the two ladies, here Sejin B, King of Kings, son of Ra, informs his most grand honor, etc., that him who bears his message is him that killed Pompey.
Your history. Yeah, that's what they do to criminals. No such a thing as crucifixion, just impaling them so that everybody can see their faces. That's the way it was done. Right there. It should have been done to Osama Bin Laden. Right on the Capitol building. I know Obama the Christus wants to not create any trouble with Islam psychotics, but oh no, let's tell it like it is. Religious beliefs, including Christianity, are a mental disorder. People are thwarted, they're stuck in the past and they're screwing everything up. Islam psychosis is no different than Christ psychosis. The Christians are pieces of shit that have been ruining the world for 1750 years, intellectual stagnation, genocide, psychopathy, pedophilia. Look at the Crusades, look at the Inquisition, look at the Holocaust. Christian Hitler, the Holocaust is thanks to this Christ psychosis, this disorder, this disgusting disorder. So Obama should have taken the body of Osama bin Laden, bring it to Washington, chop his head off, or throw the body on a pin's den with all the excreta and dirt is in there with full of pigs, and put it right in there and film it. So and then go over there to Washington and put it on a pike for 7 days, let it rot with the things around so nobody can see, but everybody can see it. Let all the birds come around, and then, but actually have a priest, a Roman priest actually, so he's not, go back in the past to the real religion, the Roman religion, and grab and put the flames in there and put right in front of the Capitol building and put right oil, pig's oil and blood, and say all the ceremonies. So that way no more terrorism, the end of it. Because he'll be rotting in hell, fighting a fairy tale with a fairy tale.
You look in Father's chair.
I never wanted to harm you.
Of course you did not.
Mistress.
It must not speak. It must die.
Jim. Help me.
Here we go again. That's the way you punish criminals. Chop their heads off and put them right in front of the public building so you can see them, and on top of temples. That's the way you do it. That's the way it should be done with Bin Laden. And then put oil, pig's oil and blood on your stupid face, so all the Islam psychotics would see it. Bury him at sea is ridiculous. This is the way it's done.
Us harm.
Yeah.
Through acts of
just saying President Bush also effort.
President Obama.
Yeah.
A very changed nation.
9/11 happened on the watch of piece of shit, Christ psychotic, imbecile Bush, a Christian asshole. Took 10 minutes for him to react when everything occurred. Ignorant piece of shit. And then he decided to attack Iraq. Come on. Deal with the facts, you asshole. This Republican pieces of shit, Christian imbeciles. This is the problem with this country. Morons like this.
To continue
to do. Go ahead and kiss. You take turns kissing Obama's ass, his black ass. All of you assholes. Go and take turns and kiss his ass, one by one of you imbeciles.
And theirs.
And this piece of shit, Christ psychotic imbeciles, don't realize that they are in the Roman buildings, Roman religion, Roman everything. They eat even Roman food, and the assholes don't even realize it. They're so stupid and moronic. Christianity is a despicable mental illness. And all these people that go to church get their brains intellectually stagnated. They don't know any shit. They all come from the Roman Empire. The only one that really knows is Obama, that is mentally healthy, very well educated, and brilliant man. And you see, when he took office, he went to the Lincoln Memorial, a Roman temple. Okay, and right there he started speaking, just like, I closed my eyes and put Obama with an outfit of a Roman emperor, divine emperor, and the Vestal Bridges right behind him, all the senators, they were priests, and feel like right back, in a Roman ceremony. And these assholes, piece of shit, Republicans, morons, Christ-psychotic imbeciles don't realize it.
The temple of Mars, where the statues of the god Mars, his consort, the goddess Venus, the life giver, mother of Iulius Caesar, Christ, equivalent to the Lincoln Memorial, which is a temple. Here in this platform, where the sacrifice is done, which is done today, like it was happening at Lincoln Memorial. This is the way it looks today.
So this day, my friends in YouTube, should be called OGO 511 Day. Should be celebrated the 1st of May, which by the way is also the month of Flora, Maya, the Venus. This is when all the flora, the resurrection, all the flowers and everything, the Roman Empire, which is very appropriate. And they should be celebrated like that. So I hope you enjoy these facts, because everything I say is based on facts. And I connect the dots and compare it, because those who don't know the past are condemned to repeat it. This happened in the people infected with Christ-psychotic that get their dosage of ignorance and lies and crap in churches, synagogues, and mosques. So, this is a great country. The Empire Americanus. Pace Theorum.